But it was the right decision because I think there's something important that needs to be done here in the county. Right now, I'm working for the Taylorsville Police Department. I want to thank the commissioners, the mayor, for putting up with me and giving me the opportunity. I know at least one of the commissioners here, Abby Nation, somewhere I saw her. But they gave me the chance to, and knowing full well what my intentions were, gave me the chance to work at Taylorsville PD so I could keep my state time going and work towards my retirement. There are several things that concern me about the way the current office is operating. But no issue concerns me and many other officers working in Spencer County than the inadequate, dangerous radio system operated by the current sheriff. I will give you some examples of what I mean. Probably 10 years ago, while working for the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife, at that time we were all operating on the same radio system. I had started my shift in the early afternoon, and a call came out from dispatch, be on the lookout for a black Ford Mustang with passenger front end damage. The operator of said vehicle has an active warrant for his arrest. I admit, you kind of put this stuff in the back of your mind, you hear it a lot. Sometimes it means something later on, sometimes it doesn't. But I heard the call and kind of put it back in the memory banks. Later that night, around midnight, I was headed home and pulled up to the stoplight at 1633 and 1169 beside Elk Creek Baptist Church. And what did I see? With the vehicle that had been described hours earlier. I called up to the vehicle, contacted dispatch, ran the plate, confirmed it was a correct vehicle. By this time, we were on Dales Lane, and I informed dispatch that I would be stopping the vehicle. Before I could initiate the stop, the vehicle turned onto Crenshaw Lane. I turned on my blue lights and the vehicle stopped at a home that appeared to have 100 plus people having a party. I was letting dispatch know where I was when the driver jumped out of the vehicle and ran into the crowd. In my haste, I had not released the button on my radio mic when I yelled for the suspect to stop. I then jumped out of my vehicle and went after the suspect. Nobody ever said I was smart. I found the suspect and placed him under arrest. When I got back to my vehicle with my prisoner, I heard a Taylorsville city officer with sirens in the background inform dispatch that himself, another city officer, and a sheriff's deputy were coming through the stoplight at Highway 55 and 155 en route to assist me. I got on the radio and told them I was okay to stop their run and I'd be bringing the prisoner to Taylorsville. The officers had heard my inadvertent broadcast on the radio and were coming to my aid. With the current sheriff's system, this could not happen because it is a closed cell system, meaning only the officer with the system can monitor or talk on the system, essentially shutting out everyone else. The website for the sheriff's current radio system states, this system is ideal for business and industry users. Simply put, it says nothing about being recommended for public safety services. It is designed for contractors, plumbers, electricians, etc. The federal government recommends all public service agencies adopt a P25 compliant system. The sheriff's office is the only one in Spencer County that has not adopted that system. With the federal government, if you apply for grants and funding, if you're not operating on a P25 compliant radio system, you're eliminated from a lot of funding and grants. So there's one good reason beside all the others that you need to do it. If elected, I will work to correct this issue. Although I could give you numerous examples where the current radio system has failed, I will convey only one more, then move on. Approximately 3 or 4 years ago, the People's Bank at Elk Creek was robbed at gunpoint. One of those ladies that was robbed at gunpoint is here tonight. That very day, at that very moment, I was starting my shift. At this time, I was being dispatched by KSP Post 12 and could not hear any of the sheriff's transmissions. Because of the delay in me being notified and by not being able to monitor the sheriff's system, I believe I met the suspects on 11/69 that day. But too late to react to the situation, and they got past me. Later, one of the suspects with his sweatshirts was found lying in the roadway of Highway 1169, the roadway I live on. When dispatching information, seconds count. And just as the little game the teacher played in school where you start something on this room and pass it all the way across to the other side, the more times information is passed around, the least likely it will be accurate. If elected sheriff, a P25 compliant radio system will be a top priority. Cooperation with fiscal court, local, state, and federal agencies will be of utmost importance, unlike the current sheriff, that I have seen on numerous occasions point to his chest and say, "This is my county." I'm sorry to tell you, Sheriff, it's not your county, it's not my county, it's our county.
Amen.
Fiscal court, all county employees, whether with the sheriff's department or another department, deserve to be treated with respect and cooperation. This is not happening now. There is a serious problem when you've had reportedly 28 to 29 deputies come and leave the agency. The sheriff's office needs to be a place that is pleasant to work, not one that you should feel intimidated in a place where harassment is commonplace. If Ford Motor Corporation CEO had the percentage of turnover our sheriff has, he would be fired. The mode issue that we all heard about was nothing more than a sham to take over the EMS building. The mode in the building was minor, and repair personnel even stated that if left alone, the mode would never have been an issue. Fiscal court offered our current sheriff 3 different locations while repairs were being made to the office. One location was a brand new building that could have been modified as a nice new temporary location, but the sheriff turned down all the options and sued fiscal court for not providing him with office space. His answer was to pull a camping trailer beside the sheriff's office so the hard-working taxpayers of the county could stand in the weather while they paid their taxes. During the whole time that the office was closed down, sheriff employees were confirmed running in and out of the office all day long. This was nothing more than grandstanding in order to make fiscal court look like they were mistreating him. I've had one taxpayer tell me that he had over 120 tax bills to pay out of 4 different checkbooks. When he approached the trailer, the sheriff saw the amount of business he needed to conduct and said, "Hold on a minute, I'll help you." The gentleman thought he was going to be let inside the trailer so he could sit down out of the weather to conduct his business. To his surprise, the sheriff brought out a table and chair and set it in the parking lot. Our taxpayers, whether paying one small tax bill or several amounting to thousands of dollars, deserve more respect than this. And after all of this, the sheriff sued all the members of physical court at an estimated cost of $100,000. Then, before the lawsuit could be ruled on, the case was dropped to save his own embarrassment. When physical court saw it necessary to cut the sheriff's budget, instead of trying to work things out and make things work, he goes on Louisville television and announces to everyone that he no longer is going to provide 24-hour service. Essentially, he announces to criminals we were open for their business. This, once again, was an attempt at grandstanding. In the end, the difference of money was about $22,000. A small amount in the scheme of things. A good manager would figure out a way to do with less. Ironically, shortly after this terrible loss of funds, he was able to give his chief deputy a $19,000 payment for unclaimed, undocumented time. I don't know anywhere else you can turn in undocumented time and get paid for it. The sheriff's salary is set by statute. That is a given. But his chief deputy received $76,150.36 and paid during 2017. With benefits, insurance, etc., his salary approaches $100,000. But what bothers me even more is we have a major who made $72,426.56 with benefits also approaching nearly $100,000. I promise, if elected, the major's position will be eliminated, and that money will be used to hire and retain officers. Officers must be paid a salary that they can feed and care for their families. It is much cheaper to retain good officers than continually train, lose, and retrain. Our current sheriff uses a policy manual from another county sheriff's office, with the other sheriff's office marked out and Spencer County written in all but a few places. If elected, my staff and I will craft a new policy manual for the Spencer County Sheriff's Office. The policy manual is a living, working document that can be changed and modified as conditions and situations dictate. Not a dusty, second-hand document left unused on a shelf. While working for Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, I had the opportunity to wear a body camera. I have to admit, at first, I was not sure of its worth in law enforcement. But after wearing one, I found they are a valuable tool. Not only do they record and retain evidence, they also protect officers from unfounded complaints, protect the agency and county, and protect the public by documenting actual events. If elected, I will search out grants for funding of such equipment. Marking of vehicles. If elected, all sheriff patrol vehicles will be marked. In law enforcement, visibility is a large deterrent to criminals. If a sheriff vehicle comes through your neighborhood, you need to be able to identify it and summons it for help if need be. I have to ask the sheriff, who are you hiding from?
That's right.
I will agree there are uses for unmarked vehicles in law enforcement, but not patrol vehicles in a small community like Spencer County. I vow to bring back the 24/7 coverage with the same or less than the current sheriff is spending now. It's all about management, not grandstanding to get your way. I want to start a live, active school shooting training scenario. With all the local, I want to conduct this with all the local, state, and federal agencies that's willing to participate. As we've seen, it can happen anywhere. training is the key to being ready for that time. The Kentucky flag states, "United we stand, divided we fall." Nowhere in the state has the sheriff divided a county as deeply as here in Spencer County for his own agenda and benefit. A sheriff must be trusted, looked up to, and expected to provide service whenever needed. He must have the community's support in order to be effective. I believe our sheriff has lost a large portion of the community support. I want to again have that trust of the people. It's time that we stand united and make Spencer County the great place it's meant to be. One final thought. I'm Scott Herndon, and I'd be honored and humbled to be your next sheriff.